Even I wasn't doing it to the level that you needed when I felt like I was supporting you. And I have done a lot to do that. But, it's not about what I think I'm doing. It's about what you need and fulfilling those needs so that you can feel better. And normally someone who holds things against you like that, there is some sort of abuse sort of thing. Like not all the time, but even acting that way is emotionally manipulative. And so I think that's where two women are more hesitant with that kind of stuff.
I want to be able to make the most money for our house and provide for us and to be able to, to function at my best for us so we can have a better life, so that you can enjoy the things that you like to enjoy, the kids can be taken care of, all of these things can be handled. However, my tank is low. What are your... I talked a lot.
I mean, I figured you were going to be talking a lot, though, because you've talked about it a lot.
Yeah.
Even when we had a conversation. I mean, I feel like it all makes sense. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I feel like I do kind of have to go back to the point of women being afraid of men holding things over their head.
Yeah.
And I feel like, especially when they're upset maybe and they are doing all this stuff, they do tend to throw that at a woman, and that pushes her more towards doing things on her own, getting her own stuff, because she's afraid of things being held against her. And I think, though, like in our situation, you don't do that. And so it is easier to support you and be there for you. And even I wasn't doing it to the level that you needed when I felt like I was supporting you. And I have done a lot to do that. But, it's not about what I think I'm doing. It's about what you need and fulfilling those needs so that you can feel better and be able to do the things that you need to do.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, I do think that it can be something that is... Well, I think the thing about holding it against or holding it over someone's head, it comes from a thinking of not truly thinking of it as a team, as one unit. Like we did that episode on oneness, and either person can be guilty of this, right? So, but as a man, if you understand that, look, it's not about her, it's not about I did this, so you need to do this, right? It's about, look, I'm the part of this team that's going out and facing the world. She's the part that's giving me the fuel to be able to do that. If this part of the team's not functioning well, I don't shit on this part of the team. I help this part of the team because that part of the team helps me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so if you're holding something again over someone's head and being like, well, I did this, so you need to do this, then that's not that, because that's not going to bring that person, get you what you need in order for the team to be, because you're both going to succeed or fail together. Right. And I think
though, in a conversation, especially when people are frustrated, though, that isn't how it goes. You know what I mean? And it does go a lot of the time, like you said, it could be a man or a woman with someone being like, I do this, so you need to do this, or something like that. And that, I guess, too, I'm speaking for women, one, because I'm a woman, and two, because of just the history of relationships where women were in situations where they did have to just marry somebody, and they had to take whatever treatment they got because they just didn't have any other option, really. And I'm not saying that that's how it is now, but I'm saying that I think those times and hearing those stories, kind of like the stories that men hear, make women more afraid of being put in those situations. And I can understand it too, because the next episode we're going to talk more about this.
Yeah.
But it is more dangerous for a woman to be in a situation with a man that might hold things against her, or, in a extreme case, I'm not saying that this is the norm, like be dangerous or,
Right.
or turn into an abusive husband or something like that. So, and normally someone who holds things against you like that, there is some sort of abuse sort of thing, like not all the time, but like even acting that way is emotionally manipulative. And so I think that's where too women are more hesitant with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I know this isn't really like exactly what we're talking about.
Well,
but
give me the example of holding it so that we can put it into like, how does a man do this that abusing this?
I think I did it when we were on vacation too, but a man's like, oh, let's go on this nice vacation. And, I planned all this. And then when you guys get in an argument, he's like, after everything I did for you, I just planned this whole vacation and you're going to be upset at me over this. Like, I did this, so you should be able to do this. Like, it's taking something that he's done and he gifted you and now used it as manipulation for
something.
what? Yes. And now you have to do this.
Right. Exactly. Okay.
So like that, I feel like is what women get afraid of. And like you said, if it's come at the way that you described it and the way that we, kind of went about the things is that we're helping each other. And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
And I feel like and like I said, I guess this is what started the whole tangent, but what women are afraid of is when men get upset that they're going to go straight to, I did this for you, you need to do this for me, rather than, hey, like, I'm not feeling supported, but we're a team. So like, I want you to know that this isn't happening and I have needs that aren't being met.
Right.
Let's talk about it. If there's any way that I can help you figure this out as well too, let's figure it out together.
Right.
But it's like emotions are typically so high by the time resentment has built or things like that. And that's why we were talking about just talk about it right away, that it typically goes the wrong way. Even if you do want to view it as a team, right? Like sometimes you're just so frustrated and so upset that you do say things that you don't
that come across that way
mean to say in that manner. So
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think it's like, well, like like I was saying with the team, but it's more like the approach should be more like, I want to be able to make the most money for our house and provide for us and to be able to to function at my best for us so we can have a better life, so that you can enjoy the things that you like to enjoy, the kids can be taken care of, all of these things can be handled. However, my tank is low. And in order to do that, I need the support to be able to give me the ability to do that to the ability that I want to and that you deserve,
Right.
And that's a better way than saying, than the holding against, because like you said, because if you're giving something and then you think that, and now it becomes transactional where it's like, now there's actually a cost to it. It's like, it's like, you give someone a free sample and then you're like, so now.
Well, then they're not going to want you to do those things. And now you're creating other problems actually. Because now you're using the things that you do that you're supposedly doing out of the kindness of your own heart to back up your point. And so then it's like, are you just doing it to be able to use this against me later? You know what I mean? And like, women can do the same thing to men. I'm not saying that this is a man only thing or whatever, but I think that really also drives a wedge in between the people trying to have the conversation, because then it does feel tit for tat. Then everybody's getting defensive and things like that. And so, because I don't think women have an issue supporting a man that does make it feel like there's a team. Like, I feel like women have an issue supporting men who are like, I do this all day. Like, what are you doing? Like, I do this for you. What are you doing? Like, I understand that, like, at the core, that is the problem. But also, like, a lot of men just blurt out what they feel, right? Like,
sure, yeah.
And so that comes out.
Yeah.
And even though they're meaning it to try to work together as a team, it's coming out wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so she's taking it literally.
Right.
And then now she feels like you're holding things against her. So now she doesn't want you to take her on vacation. She doesn't want you to do the things that you're throwing back in her face, right?
Right.
So, like, that's why I understand it's hard to do in the moment, but you do have to try to work together on something as a team. And even if the man is voicing his frustrations like that in the wrong way, a woman can kind of try to turn it around, which I wish I had thought to do this when we were having our conversation. But I guess I did kind of at the end. But by being like, I hear what you're saying. How can I help you do this? Right.
Yeah.
And I understand that men aren't going to want to be like, do this, and this, because then you're like, are you just doing this because I told you to do it? Because women have the same sort of thought process too when they tell men to do things for them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do feel like it is important for the person who is talking about that their needs aren't being met to do at least give some examples, because at the end of the day, as a woman, I'm trying my hardest to understand your needs and what you need and what that looks like.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I'm a woman, and still my woman brain kicks in, and I'm like, oh, he would want me to bring him a cupcake, and that would make him feel so loved and supported. And you might be like, that was nice, but I'd rather you just give me a hug and sit with me on the couch. You know what I mean? So it's like someone can still be really trying to support the person, but still be doing it wrong, but it's not malicious. You know what I mean? So that's why it is important. And even in our conversation, I was like, I need you to at least give me some sort of ideas, because I need to know what makes you feel supported.